up. All right. Okay. Do you hear yourself? Do you hear yourself coming through? Do y'all hear yourself coming through on the chat? In the, yeah, it's probably delayed, so just keep listening. And I'ma jump over here myself. Make sure y'all low. Okay. All right. Let me see what's going on. So I'm low. You can't hear me either. All right. Just a sec, man. I can't do nothing without being interrupted. Hold up. All right. Let me know now what y'all hearing. I can't even find it. It ain't even pulling up on mine. Yeah, it's that's good. I turned the beat down, so I'm gonna go ahead and start it, and then, all right, let's go. It's about to get live. We keep it pretty level, no surprise. Come and listen to the topics bustin'. Then check out our discussion. Keith Norris and D2K. K-Bump 20 on the MIC. Jet I night all the way in Germany. Leveled head, you know who that boy be. But they say, live and level, live and level. We on that MIC. Live and level, live and level. We just talking them games. Live and level, live and level. Take a seat and listen up, man. Live and level, live and level. What's up, people? This is your boy Levelhead back with another Live and Level Gamers podcast. We trying to get all this stuff figured out. Things still acting up on my end, so blame Leveled Head, blame me. I got the crew in the building. Go ahead and let them know who you is. Go ahead and say something. Okay. If y'all hear them pretty good, let me know. I don't want them on here and they can't be heard. So let me know if y'all hear them or not. And then I'm going to let these guys talk. And then I'm going to. I just heard it, man. I'm super low. You super low? Okay, so. Yeah, I'm super low. So let me figure out what's going on. Okay, so let me go over here, and let's try to keep talking. Say something. I'm trying to see why y'all ain't coming through as loud as y'all should be, because it's I'm picking y'all up pretty good. Let me see. Let me say something now. Let me see.
Yes, yeah. I'm talking. I'm here.
Okay.
It's cracking.
All right. Let me
What it do?
see. This was annoying because this is all set last week. I keep telling y'all, I keep changing my stuff, man. Uh, for whatever reason, it keeps changing my stuff. And every time I get on here, I have one part right, and the next thing I know, the other part ain't right. And now I got to go through here, lie.
We still super soft. I just heard it.
Yeah, I know.
That little tape. You know how they have in church or in the studio. Yeah. You put the tape over it. Say do not touch.
Yeah. Let me see.
That's funny.
Just keep talking. I'm gonna figure it out at some point because y'all should be coming through right here. So let's go to properties.
This is truly professional. I love how this works.
Keep talking. There y'all go. Now say
Yeah.
something.
We
Okay.
good now? Are we coming? We
Yeah,
finally
y'all.
coming through?
Yeah, y'all good now.
Are we cooking with grease,
We
as they
cooking
say?
with grease. Uh, we in here. So, all those that are listening, sorry for the inconvenience. Sorry that we constantly have these hiccups on my part. But we are live and we are going. I don't have my claps. I don't have none of that right now because things just ain't acting right. But I have the crew here. So what's up,
Yo,
Keith?
what's going on? What's going on? I was sitting back trying to listen to uh, the podcast already, and yeah, we sound good. We sound good.
I told you I was gonna figure it out. I was gonna figure it out, man. So put a little white noise behind us as we get ready to get into this podcast. So what's been good, y'all? Been checking out that Loki?
Just watched it today, man.
Man,
Yes.
we can't say too much now. We don't want to spoil it for people. People may not have caught up with it, you know. So, but we can say that it is good. It is a good series. I think what Tim Hiddleston, whatever his name is, I think he has embodied this character of Loki, and you can't unsee him. To me, he's just as good as old boy is as Tony Stark, as
uh,
iconic. And I think Owen Wilson is killing this series, bro. I think to me he's killing this series. I knew he can act, but I didn't know he was this good. Owen is giving it to me. I'm loving it.
yeah. It's this last episode really to me really has set it up to go some deep places. So I'm looking forward to what expands. Everything I had said in the hangout came out to be true. You know, all the things I predicted that wasn't. You know what I said. Everything was like I said it. I was feeling kind of good. So I'm wondering if my next prediction is going to come to pass. So, but yeah, it's been good, man. Anyway, because I don't want to keep us here all night. We already behind time. So let's go ahead and get into this. What you been gaming on? Yeah. You know what time it is. It's time for What Have You Been Gaming On? Sing it, folks. Let's go. Let's go. Hey. What you been gaming on? 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 Gaming on, gaming on, gaming on. Okay. K-Bomb 20. I'm going to throw it at you, and then I'm going to run up here so you got the flow, you and Keith. I'll be back in a little bit. What you been gaming on, bro?
What have I been gaming on? I guess since the last time, I know the last podcast we had, I pretty much summed up the entire summer so far and part of the spring, and a little bit of what I'm looking forward in the future. But what I've been gaming on since the last podcast, I'm still working on that Mass Effect 3 Keep. Still working on that, bro. But let me say this, man. Man, I'm not enjoying the third one. I I didn't I
Wow.
didn't enjoy the third one when I played it at first. When I because I if people don't know, Okay, let me sum this up about how much I love Mass Effect. I love the Sony pony, as whoever may want to call me that. I bought an Xbox 360 just to play Mass Effect,
The first one.
the first one. Yep,
Yeah.
the first Mass Effect I bought a 360 just to play it, and then I went and bought the next Xbox. No, was it on 360 the next one, or was it on the next console?
It was on all. It was on 360 and PS3.
Yeah. So
And
so
I
so
think
I
Microsoft
kept
also.
playing it. I kept playing it on the 360 because the storyline carried over. So
Hmm.
even when it came out on the PS3 for Mass Effect 2, I didn't even switch over. I kept playing it on the 360 because I wanted my save file because Mass Effect 1 never came out for the PS3. So I kept playing it on the PS2. And then when the next Mass Effect 3 came out, again, I played it on the Xbox. So I love Mass Effect. It made the Sony pony, or if you want to call me, buy an Xbox. But after beating 1 and beating 2, I, I don't know what it is about 3, man. I did enjoy it the first time I played it, and I'm not really enjoying it now. I like what you was about to say something about that. What do you think?
But well, I don't really have much to say about it. It's weird because now you're taking it in totality of
Yes,
all three games, and it's kind
yes,
of like your feelings and emotions about it are lining up with how people felt about it when it came out.
really.
I remember when yeah, but it was more so about the ending, more so
That's true.
than it
That's
was
true.
about the enjoying the game. So it's just weird because I thoroughly enjoyed Mass Effect 3.
Really.
I Yeah, I did. I didn't really get to the whole hang up of the ending and all this other stuff because I just enjoyed the moments that I was having in the game more so than the whole overarching story. You know what I'm saying? There were
Okay.
moments
Okay.
that
Okay.
you just enjoy in the game. It's like, man, I would play that part again, as opposed to, man, I'm mad because the ending or this sucked or
Well,
whatever.
they
This sucked.
they changed the
They
ending,
did change
and
the ending.
the legendary edition right now has the modified ending.
Hmm.
So whenever I get to it, it will not be the same ending as those who played it when it first came out. I do know that much.
All right, what was the Prothean, right? That was the first alleged the first species.
So the first, yeah, the Prothean. So in the Mass Effect 1 is about you don't really see you hear about the Protheans, but you don't see in the Protheans. You see the technology at the end of Mass Effect 1. You end up fighting the Reaper Sovereign and fighting Soren, the other what do they call them, Spectre, and
Right.
that's the end of Mass Effect 1. Mass Effect 2
I'm
is about the
listening. I'm,
collectors.
I'm not talking. I'm listening. Just give me a few more minutes. But go ahead.
Well, ain't nobody asked you to come in anyway. But
Oh,
Mass
shit.
Effect 2, the collect
All right.
the collectors, you're fighting the collector, and you find out the history with the collectors and the Protheans, and it's this war that's coming. You're preparing for the war, and then 3, the war is here, right?
Mhm.
That we've been talking about the 50,000 years of annihilation that happens every 50,000 years is here. So that's kind of how it sets up.
You're right.
But
But yeah.
I don't know, man.
But since we're here, and Mass Effect is what was your issues with Andromeda?
What wasn't my issue with it? It was the 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 game was as bland as day in the sun mayo. It was just bland. It was unsalted boiled chicken.
Was it cooked with raisins?
It was
Wait.
cooked with raisins, man. I just so the storyline was forced because they were like, okay, we're just going to a whole never different universe. I'm like, okay, when did we get that technology? Okay, I'm okay. I'll swallow that. All right, we teleport to a whole new universe, and then they try to then the creepy thing with the conversations, like they used to their heads would twitch, or they are just
Oh
looking
yes.
to different directions, and it was glitchy. The gameplay was boring. It was Karen's potato salad. It wasn't the Mass Effect that I remember. And I guess
So
that a big part of it was that. Like I'm comparing it to the Mass Effect that I fell in love with, and it didn't feel like one thing. It did not feel like a finished product.
I agree. I agree. See, I fell in love with Mass Effect 2, and then I went back to play 1, and then I played 2 again, and then because I wanted my stuff to carry over.
Oh, I
Because
see.
I didn't know anything about Mass Effect, and I was like Mass Effect 2, and I think I had at the time I had a PS3, so it wasn't even available. But
You're
then it came,
right.
so I
You're
had
right.
to play it again when it came out as a trilogy. But my thing about Andromeda, I think I said this, and I'm pretty sure it's in the archive somewhere. I thoroughly enjoyed the combat. Like if you can give me the combat and the character development and the storylines and the emotions that you get from talking to these characters, like doing their solo personal missions. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like that
Right.
was
Yeah. Right.
beautiful
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Mass Effect 2. But if you can
Right.
give me
I
that with
agree.
the
I agree.
combat of Andromeda, you have a perfect game. But you're right, it felt so forced. It was like we just got to get a Mass Effect game out. No, you don't. We
No, you
want it,
don't
but you ain't got to give
want
us
it.
this. But like you said, it
Yep.
was bland. You going to these. Like I remember being on this sand planet. I can't remember the name of it. You just driving, and then you just trying to unlock something that I don't. It was weird. It was so weird. It felt like what you were doing in Zelda, but in Zelda it worked. Going to those shrines. But
Yeah.
in this one, you were going to something similar to a shrine, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
I didn't like the. Actually, I didn't like the. What's that? What's that? The kind of platforming aspect of it.
Yeah, that too.
I thought it was kind of weak. But that's I don't know. Let me finish what I've been gaming on. I'll toss it back over to you. I just I don't know. Mass Effect. I don't know. So I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna finish it. I'm going to finish it. I'm not gonna have do it because I got two other games that needs to be played. Got two other games sitting here waiting for me to finish Mass Effect, which is Ratchet and Clank and Last of Us 2. I got them from GameFly, so I need to finish Mass Effect so I can get to those. So I'm going to finish it. Um, and then what else I've been gaming on? Like I said, I did get into the Madden beta for Madden 22, so I've been playing a little bit of that. I don't know, so I'm not buying a game unless I can split the cost with somebody else. I'm not paying $70 for this game
Oh
for Madden
wow.
22. I'm not.
What's
I'm
their
not doing it.
justification? They're not a first party exclusive. What's their
Well,
justification?
I don't know if it's 70. I'm just assuming it's EA and they're greedy. It's going to be 70. That's my assumption.
No,
So I
no.
don't know if it's 70. It's EA. They're going
Yeah.
to get you every day. It's not that it doesn't do it for me. It's not doing it for me. So unless I can split it with like my brother, because we do the game share type of thing, I'm not buying. Or I can get it from GameFly. There we go. Either I can get it from GameFly or I can split the cost with someone. I'm not because I would always buy Madden full price the day of. Not doing it this year. Absolutely not. So I'll try to get it from GameFly. So I'll probably do it and send it back when I'm done with it. So I play that and then I'm playing MLB The Show. The game that broke sales records on the Xbox. But I'm playing that, so that's what I'm actually playing it right now, trying to finish this last game so I can
He
turn
said,
my
I'm not.
attention to the podcast. So yeah, it's pretty much and then every now and then Overwatch. I played a couple games of Overwatch with my brother, and then FIFA. I still play FIFA with my boys. We get on and we play the online co-op mode. So that's what I've been gaming on.
Go. I guess I'll go next. I don't know who leveled is back.
It's your turn. Level always go last anyway.
I haven't been playing on anything, but my
But my
my
heart.
heart wants to play a lot of stuff.
Oh, that's funny.
Man, honestly, I haven't played anything. I think the last thing I played was Forza. I think I said that on the last podcast.
Now, which Forza is
Um,
this? Is
I
that
was playing 4, but I really think I like 3 more. I think I like
that?
3 better than 4.
So you're doing the sim racer, right? This is not the arcade one, the Forza Horizon. This is just the regular Forza.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's Forza Horizon 3.
Okay, so it is the
Yeah.
sim racer. Okay.
Well, no, it's the well, you can do sim like features,
Oh,
but It's more
Okay.
arcade because you're off road and
I
doing
mean,
all that other
arcade.
stuff.
I mean, Horizon.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry, Horizon is the arcade one. It's like the Need for
yeah,
Speed.
yeah. You can do sim type things, but man, I think that was the last thing I played, and then what's the Horizon Zero Dawn?
Zero
So
Dawn. Yeah.
I had that on PS. Well, I have it on PS4, and I messed around and bought it on the PC because I saw that on as a good deal, and I was like, I want the better graphics. And then what's the company that makes that? Gorilla? Is
Yeah,
it Gorilla?
That
yeah.
Yeah. And then they had put out an update that made the game run even better on PC. But I've only put 3 hours into that game. I don't know.
wow, that's
Even,
barely
even
scratching the surface.
man, even playing it on PC, it's still not grabbing me like I thought it was going to grab me. It's just something about this game that's just not grabbing me. It's beautiful.
It is.
It's one beautiful game, but
You
this
talking
is
about
one Sony.
Horizon?
Yeah,
Yes.
It is something. It
this.
is. It does have. Go ahead. It ain't my turn. I was listening to y'all running back and forth up and down these steps. I'm on daddy
Nah,
mode too, Keith. I'm on daddy mode.
hey,
So
but yeah, it's a beautiful game. It's just something about it. It's not grabbing me. I don't know. And like you're gonna enjoy Uncharted, but this is one of those Sony exclusives that's just not. It's not doing it for me.
now, how
But
far into it are you?
uh, I was into the game. It's just something about the gameplay. It's
He
just
said
not
about 3 hours.
encouraging me.
3. Oh, you give it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it's an older game, so I don't feel like spoilers should be an issue. What have you like in the storyline? What have you accomplished so far? Because that'll let me know is kind of where you at.
I think I beat that one thing that you had to fight at night.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
So you
with the
haven't.
fire arrow.
Yeah. Have you left the camp grounds?
I think I'm running. I think I stopped when I was running. I think I was in mid run and cut the game.
Okay. Did
That's
you
funny.
did you do the challenge where you had to compete against the other to win some? I forgot what it was. It's been a while since I played it.
I think honestly I think I'm on that conversation,
Yeah, then
but
you got
I
yeah,
haven't.
you ain't it ain't opened up yet. You give it you yeah, it's gonna seem
It
Okay,
does. It does open
yeah,
up.
it dry.
okay,
It's kind of dry. Once you get past where you at, it opens. That's when it's gonna open
okay,
up.
bet.
Yeah, it's slow. It's real slow up to that point. Like this is not what I signed up for. And then give it about another hour or two. Once you get past all those preliminaries and trying to show you how to play the game and all that stuff, and they let you really get out there in the wild, then you're gonna be like, oh, okay, now I see what people like this game for.
Okay.
Okay, but no, go on. My bad, man. I'm probably to run back up here again. So
Oh,
so
it's on you. I haven't been playing
oh,
anything.
okay. So for me, I haven't been playing much, but it was a few games that I forgot that I was playing last week that I want to kind of touch on before we go into these topics. So I went out and I bought Soul Calibur 6.
What?
I was a Soul Calibur fan, and I had been looking at the game for a while, watching tournaments and different things like that. So I saw that it was, and I don't even go in this store. I kind of have a semi hatred for this store. This GameStop.
GameStop?
I don't go to GameStop. I'm Best Buy. If I can't find it at Best Buy, I go to Walmart or I order it. So, but they had it there. And long story short, they had it there for about, I think it was $19 or $10. I can't remember exactly what price. But I went out there and I bought it, man, for the PlayStation 4, for the PlayStation 5 via the PlayStation 4. And I'm gonna be honest, it's a nice game. One of the things I don't like is they try to add those like specials like in Street Fighters. Tekken did this too. I thought it broke Tekken as well.
It
You know
did,
how
yeah.
Street Fighters have Ryu and Ken and they have their special art.
Look, cutscene.
Yeah, the little art. Well, they kind of almost like the Smash on Smash Bros. The Final Smash is like that. Well, they added that to Tekken. I mean, they added that to Soul Calibur. They also added it to Tekken. They have their own version. I don't think Tekken is as bad as this one because you would trigger these special arts or special moves without even trying to. And it's so many different ones. and so many different variations of these moves that it kind of makes, even though it's a good game, I believe, it kind of takes away from the game. It kind of takes away from the engagement, the fight. As you get in there, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you wasn't even trying to do it. You accidentally trigger a special art or whatnot. I don't forgot what they call it, and it just breaks up the game. And then you sitting there like, oh, why? And then you get back and you go back into the game. So graphically, it looks really good. Soul Calibur has always looked really good, but I feel like they should take that out and kind of just go back to the rudimentary format of Soul Calibur. But I was playing that. I also bought that Burnout. I was a Burnout of his Need for Speed.
Paradise.
What was the one they kind of remade and re-released?
Paradise.
Is it Paradise?
Yeah.
I guess it is.
Burnout Paradise. That's what it's called.
Okay, yeah, I bought that. And I'm gonna be honest, I felt like the graphics was not what it do. I feel like they just up.
It was not what it do.
It was not what it do. That was not what I was expecting. So I couldn't really get into it because I was looking for, where Need for Speed is now. I was thinking they had upgraded it to that level of graphical overhaul, and no, it wasn't hitting. You could tell this was dated graphics and a dated game, and I just couldn't get into it. And
yeah, Burnout Paradise remastered because I bought that last year as well, and I played it for about 2.5 hours, and I was like, this ain't it.
Yeah, it ain't it. It ain't working. So I went on. And,
I think it was $5 when I bought it, so I wasn't tripping.
No, it was again another $19. So I ain't really losing no sleep over it. So those two. There's another one that I got up there that just skipping my head, man. I told you I was buying a lot of games, but of course the three that I've been playing was It Takes Two, The Last of Us 2, and Ratchet and Clank. And I haven't gotten a chance to play since we talked last, so it ain't no point in me going through those. Okay. So anyway, that's what you've been gaming on. So let's go ahead and get into these topics. Starting here, where y'all want to start at? Do y'all want to start with NCAA sports returning to video games? Do y'all want to start with Sony buys Housemarque? Where y'all want to start?
I think we can start with NCAA. I don't think that's going to be extremely long topic.
Let's go to this NCAA subject right quick, and I'm gonna let K-Bum, since he the one wanted to talk about this.
Yep.
K-Bum, go ahead and lead us into this conversation, man. Let us know what's going on here.
All right, so let's go ahead and lead into this conversation.
I'm gonna step away for a second, but I'm listening.
That's cool. So what happened here is that, first we got to go back in the time and talk about what happened to college sports games. So the picture that my man has up here and is playing was NCAA 2014. It was looked at as one of the best sports games out there, but it was the last college football game to be released. And what happened was, the reason why this happened is that there were lawsuits, one by Mr. Ed O'Bannon, which was an ex-college basketball player who played for UCLA. He had a brother, I believe, named Charles O'Bannon, both played in the NBA. But they were suing the NCAA and actually, I believe, EA for their likenesses being used in video games and them not getting a dime. Also, there was another lawsuit by I think it was a quarterback. There was a quarterback who had another lawsuit out against the NCAA, and it was a very similar thing where they were talking about how their likeness was used and they were not being paid for it. Well, if anyone understands college sports and how college athletic works and how the NCAA works, the NCAA considers college athletes as amateurs. which means amateurs cannot make money. They cannot make money off their likeness. They cannot make money off commercials. Many people have lost their scholarships because they've gotten an agent, or they made money because I've seen some stupid stuff as their parents have a business, right? Have like maybe a used car, or a piece of they own a piece of parlor, right? And they were on a commercial with their parents and got paid for being on a commercial with their parents' business, and they lost their scholarship because they got paid for their likeness, which is garbage, man. But
True.
anyway, the NCAA has had a strong hold on this, and there's been a fight ever since. So EA, to prevent being sued any further, to prevent any more issues, stop making NCAA college-oriented football, basketball, baseball type of games. And that was the end of college video games. Recently, early this
Pause,
year,
pause, 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 pause. I want to
yes,
pause right there.
yeah,
So, uh, so we all know that that's BS because those students
yes,
bring
sir.
in a lot of money. They bring in a lot of money.
The Texas football team brings in so much money that they are able to fund the every other sports organization in in Texas University. The football team brings in so much money that that money is used to fund every other sports team in that university.
That's ridiculous.
Mhm.
So,
And those kids get nothing.
exactly. But I want to touch on that though because it's like we always talk about EA as being this monster of a company, and I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure they were doing it for to protect themselves and money. But I mean,
Definitely.
kudos to them. Kudos to them for saying, "Hey, you know what? We're just going to step away from this because this
Yep.
is a mess." So
Yep.
kudos to EA.
Yep. They stepped away. EA made an announcement this year that they were going to come back with NCAA football. They made an announcement that even if they don't get the likeness, they're going to come out with a football game anyway, because people have been this game sells for NCAA football on the PS3 or Xbox 360 sells for hundreds of dollars. The physical copy of it,
Wow.
hundreds of dollars, $200-300 for this game. This is how coveted college football actually. I know this. Our audience is more of a Nintendo audience. We have some Sony people, some Xbox, but there's not too many gamers in this audience. That's why I'm taking enough time to explain this. But K Bomb 20 loves sports games as well, as you can hear by the fact that I'm playing baseball right now. So the big announcement happened yesterday. The NCAA came out and said that they will no longer restrict college athletes from making money on their likenesses, which means that college players right now, starting July 1st, which is today, can now make money on posters, jersey sales, commercials, video games. They can now make money on their likeness. And I saw a tweet saying that I think it was some I forgot who said it. One of the pro guys right now said how they would have made stacks of cash if this was going on when they were there. And I guess the point wanted to bring up, and I wanted to, I guess, bring up is how, I guess, because it affects two arenas, right? It affects the arena of video games, and it also affects the arena of the college athlete. And I just wanted to kind of talk about it a little bit. So didn't have a question I wanted to put out there, but I just wanted to get your opinions about this exchange and interaction that just went down. You think it's a good thing that this is happening, or do you see it as a bad thing? Because it's a good thing for quote unquote video games, because now the college football games will return. But as far as the impact on college athletes, on video games, do you think this is a good or bad decision? I kind of throw it to you since I've done a lot of talking and I still have some pieces that I want to say. So I throw it to you, Keith.
I think it's a good thing. Remember, LeVar Ball was trying to do the same exact thing with his sports thing because
True.
it's kind of crappy that like I said, these students bring in so much money and they don't get any money from it. I'm gonna have to be in daddy mode in just a minute, but they don't get any money from it, and that's the whole point. Like the whole point is to go to college, get that career, get that and start making money. But if I'm already doing it, why are you holding me back from it? And the problem is, you're the one benefiting from it the most, and you're telling me no. You know what I'm saying? You're
Exactly.
telling me no. I'm gonna lose my scholarship. I'm gonna lose all of this stuff, and you're the one laughing all the way to Hawaii and stuff like that. So I think it's a great thing. Honestly, it's a real good thing, and yeah, for all those fans of those college sports games, like, hey, it's coming back. People are starting to open up their minds about these things. So I think it's a great thing. Oh shoot.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say, uh, can I jump in on this
Yeah,
conversation?
yeah, please
Yeah.
go.
I was listening to you and how you was talking about how basically NCAA was taking advantage of these athletes.
Yep.
They couldn't make any money off their own image, but NCAA was making so much that a team like the Texas could basically fund their whole athletic program off of football. And
Yep.
then we won't even add in what basketball was bringing in with, and then all the deals they were cutting with EA, with
Yeah. So
ESPN,
so
with Fox.
the school made money with EA. So EA paid the school's money, but the
Right,
likenesses that they were using of the athletes, they never seen a dime of it.
right. And we talked about this a few times on this podcast. Several times we talked about the need for the college athlete, especially those in the sports that are being targeted for the contracts for ESPN, for TNT, and all that, to when they doing uh, the 16, and then they doing all their tournaments. This
Yep.
is being treated just like the NFL. This is being treated like it's not amateur, it's pro. College
Yeah.
college sports are basically pro sports now. They're a tier below
Yep.
the pros, and
Agreed.
they make just as much. They have just as much
But
influence.
financial impact.
Right, and the
Financial
financial
impact.
impact and the follow. What I was going to say was following. That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
Is more people that probably watch college sports.
There's a bigger audience for college sports than it is for most
Just, go ahead, keep
most
talking. I'm gonna shut my
yeah,
trap.
than most NFL. The biggest story was the Miami Hurricanes in the '90s. They talked about, if you saw the 30 for 30 special, they talked about how the Miami Dolphin players would go to the Miami Hurricane college players to help them get into clubs. I am not lying to you. Listen to the 30 for 30. Michael Irvin talks about it. The NFL Miami Dolphin players were going to the college kids to help them get into the clubs.
Hmm.
That's how big college football was, especially in
Okay,
Miami.
all right. So I'm back. But what I was saying, yeah,
Did you catch what I said?
I heard the end of. Go ahead and say it again.
No, I was just saying. I was just saying that college football was so big in Miami that the Miami Dolphins, the pro football team, was asking the help of the Miami Hurricanes college kids to get into clubs because they couldn't
Right,
get into
right,
clubs themselves.
right. Going
Crazy.
back to that popularity. That's what I was saying. There's a lot of
Yeah,
people
exactly.
who don't watch the pros. And you said it. More folks watch college sports than pro sports.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
when they having their tournaments, they might be, and I ain't gonna say they beating the NFL, they beating the NBA. They probably not in ratings, but they are rivaling those
oh yeah,
entities easily in rating,
easily.
are matching. So we really don't know how much money over the last 30. I would say pretty 20, at least 25, 30 years. We really don't know how much money has been basically siphoned out of the hands of these athletes,
Yep.
and especially in the era of the ESPNs and so I would say, yeah, about at least the last 20 years, when you get into the EA and the games and the likeness of these. And I remember our college was in those games. I remember you could find your college, and I don't know if they actually had the names of the players there or not, but I know you could find your college if you wanted to. You could find that college. What's up, Joe? Henry, welcome to the show, man. I don't have the claps. We still trying to get things right on our end. Father mode has really hit us tonight. But welcome to the show, man. We appreciate you being here. But
but that's what I wanted to say, Level. I wanted to say, where's my money?
Right.
Because I was in an NCAA football game.
Yeah, that's what I was on. I said our college.
NCAA 2006. Y'all can look it up. You can go find the game. K-Bomb 20 was on NCAA football 2006. I was the number 1 rated cornerback on the Southeast Missouri State football team. They were on the game, and I ain't see no money. Where my money? EA, NCAA.
But that's my thing. This is to me, I'm not trying to go down certain lanes because we could go down some lanes if we really wanted to on this topic because of who dominates these particular sports and the fact that, like you said, these sports tend to fund all the other sports. But if you and a lot of these athletes miss grand opportunities because they coming from impoverished communities trying to take care of their family, and they needed money right then. So to sell your autograph, to pay to help mom pay mortgage or to pay the rent or put some food in the refrigerator, people was literally losing their scholarship and their opportunity because of what the college or the institution was doing and getting paid off of their image. They couldn't get paid off their own likeness. That was basically. Anyway, this why I wanted to talk about.
It makes you mad though.
Yeah, because when you really start pulling back the banana and really getting into it, I don't want to. Okay, we keep it real on here. I believe personally, if those sports was dominated by our Caucasian brothers, I don't think this would have been like it set up.
It would have took this long.
No, it wouldn't have took this long because I believe there would have been already lawyers and different ones making these
arguments and these
arguments.
Fights
yes, and when it was made, it was like, but because let's be real, a college a degree is not equivalent to the amount of money the likenesses of these individuals, especially ones that played on these bigger teams. The amount of money that the college was making off their image was not comparable to the tuition that they, or the diploma, or not diploma, but the degree that they would get. It did not equate. It wasn't saying, you talking about multi-million, you talking about a multi-billion-dollar industry. It was that they was making multi-billions, and you talking about a degree that maybe costs $70,000. So when you get out of college, you probably owe about $200,000. But you probably made that college. Some of them folks probably made that college.
Millions.
Hundreds on top of hundreds of millions, because they paying the coach $8 million, $9 million to coach it.
Not including how much those players are now generating from boosters.
Yeah,
so let's not forget about that.
Yeah.
Not just the money that the NCAA gives them, but the boosters are now donating, because when you have people like McConaughey, who graduated from Texas, you have people like Dr. Dre, who's donating millions of dollars to USC because of the football team.
Right, right. So, and then I remember that year when Johnny Manziel, and he didn't even need it, but he was selling his autograph, and they gave him a big fine and a slap on the face. I think he had to miss.
He had to spend a couple games.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, but y'all, they of course they wasn't going, because he was too much. Look at, they suspended him because he was too much. He was worth too much money. They couldn't, and they let him. Then they let him back in the game at halftime or something like that. He came back and was like, man, the money. Them boys are old. Y'all are old. K-Bomb, you are old money. I won't say you're owed as much money as somebody
I ain't make that kind of money. I wasn't
Yeah,
doing that.
but-
I was good, but I wasn't that good.
right. But that's where it gets difficult how to break this down. But I'm
Yeah,
happy
I
that
agree.
it is returning, but I'm also even more happy that these people are about to get paid for their likeness. Now I know a lot of people. It's just like anything, some people have to fall on the sword, and for others to benefit, just like in the NBA, NFL. Some people had to fight for others to get better contracts. A lot of folks mad at what LeBron did because he took his own career in his hand.
His own hands, yeah.
But that opened
That's
the
what
door.
people fought. People before him fought for him. That's
right.
what they fought for.
They fought for that so that he can, get paid what he deserved to get paid. And then now you see the Kevin Durant's and you see all the other ones able to. Now I ain't saying there's a right way, in my opinion. Speaking of ESPN, they must hear me. There's a right way and a wrong way to do it. Like I ain't saying do what a James Harden did. You know what I'm saying? Basically quit on your team so that it's because you forcing a trade. But LeBron stayed through his contract, and when it was his opportunity to leave, he didn't have to feel pressure to stay because of media's pressure of loyalty or their perception of what loyalty is. It's amazing how they try to make them do these athletes do stuff that they wouldn't do themselves. I didn't see Skip Bayless stay at ESPN out of loyalty when they was offering him all that money over Fox. He left Stephen A. hanging. He left. Y'all figure it out. Me and Shannon Sharp finna go do Undisputed. But you talked about LeBron, but when you had your opportunity to make more money, and then he had an opportunity to go back to ESPN, I ain't see him arguing about staying loyal to Fox, staying loyal to Shannon. He was about, if ESPN would have offered him more money, he would have went to ESPN. So I'm glad to see these athletes finally getting what they should have been getting at the very least 20 years ago. There's no reason for why these athletes were not getting paid more than what, or getting something for what they was making these colleges. These colleges are racking in dough because of these programs and these superstars, because that's what they were. You selling a jersey. Michael Vick. Remember Michael Vick jersey was popular in college.
Yep.
You know how much that money should have went? A percentage of that money should have went in some account. So when he graduated, then he can gain access to that account. Some of that money should have went to him.
Yep.
Like everybody wanted to play Michael Vick in them college games, and did just as well as they wanted to play him in the pros. They are pro athletes. That's what they are. So LeBron been making high school's money because they was coming to watch him in high school. So he was on the front of what was it? What was that he was on the front of the magazine out of high school, man? So yeah, they've been exploiting these kids for a long time, man. And it's about time that they pay them. So what are you expecting, K-Bum? You are the and Keith, if you want to jump in, just cut me off wherever, bro. I ain't trying to.
I was gonna sit down this way. I'm just like, no, y'all took care of this one. Y'all didn't need me for this one.
So I'm gonna ask you some questions, K-Bum, and then Keith, if you got some thoughts on it, feel free to chime in because I might have to break away again. My wife is here now, so I gotta keep the peace. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, now that they are back, and I remember there was a distinction between college football versus NFL, like Madden versus college.
Yep.
It played different. It was a different experience. So as you being the resident guru in the sports arena, you and Jedi Knight kind of take up that ham. Y'all able to talk about that. And Keith, and I'm pretty, I know Keith hit it like that, but y'all all better than me at it as far as talking about these guys. I don't play a lot of sports games, simulation games. What are you expecting with the return of this game, this I don't know what you call it, IP? Yeah, this IP.
Yeah, it's IP. I'm expecting it to come back in full force. I'm expecting no frills. I'm expecting it to be as big as ever because there's nothing holding them back anymore.
Okay.
There's no lawsuit over their heads. There's no question about the athletes. I see them coming full force, and it being a complete competitor to Madden, and maybe even a bigger game than Madden,
Okay.
because of the fact that they now have to pay these thousands of kids money. So this game better make money, because now they're not just paying the organization or the schools; they're also paying the kids for their likenesses. So
Okay.
I can see this game coming in full force, and it having the full feel of the college atmosphere, because the college atmosphere is so much different than the NFL atmosphere.
Okay. Now I'm gonna throw this at you. Then we'll move to the next topic.
Ooh.
So we know that EA kind of dominates NFL football. They got the exclusive contract, right?
Yes, for the simulation version of the game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now I'm assuming you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if they got that same type of a contract with the NCAA.
No.
Do they? Okay.
No.
So
No.
so I can ask this question. If there was another group that could make this game, if this is bid out, I don't know how the NCAA is going to do it. Are they going to open up to anyone that want to make a college football game? Are they going to cut a deal with EA to give them exclusivity like the NFL? Lord knows, I hope they don't do that. If there was another entity out there to make this game that was not EA, who would you want?
That wasn't EA. EA made the better college football game. At the point when EA was making college football games, there was NFL Game Breakers, which was another college football game, and then there was not NFL. I mean college NCAA Game Breakers, and then there was the NCAA game that 2K Sports made. They were the better college football game. People argue about the NFL. But they were the better college football game. But if I had to choose anyone else, I would definitely choose the people 2K to do it.
2K,
even though
okay.
the people I would question what the old 989 Sports, which used to be the college Game Breakers, which is now the same people who do the show MLB The Show. I would be very interested in what they could do.
Oh, okay. I didn't
With a
know
college
that.
football game.
I didn't know that they the one make the show. Okay. All right.
Yes,
They get the battle and everything.
the old 989 sports people were bought out by Sony, and they did the show.
Okay.
And it's a superior game than a lot of other sports games. So I would be very interested, because
Let me. My brain running. So Sony bought them. That's why the NLB The Show was exclusive to Sony. So now they're
no.
Okay,
it was never exclusive to Sony's. First party studios could always make sports games, despite of the
ownership of Sony.
Exclusivity was only for third parties, never for first parties.
Okay.
Only for third party studios. So first party studios could have always made these sports titles.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
A lot of people don't know that.
You got to explain that. So the third party.
Third parties. So when EA bought so EA made a deal with NFL team, no other third party developers could make a football game.
I was confused.
If Sony first party could have made a football game.
I got you. I'm with you now. I was like, okay, so the third party only can make a game from Sony. I get you now. So now because
NFL,
EA has the contract with the NFL, no other third party studios. So that means Capcom can't do it. Ubisoft can't do it.
Konami. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
But
So
Sony's first party. They could.
If an in-house developer under Sony wanted to take on and make a sports game, they could have done it.
Yep. Absolutely.
these jokers lazy.
Because what you don't know is what people don't know is that 2K had exclusivity. That word is just killing me today. Exclusivity is killing. They'll kill me in the comments. They had that for baseball. It wasn't the same, but what happened was, what people don't understand, is that MLB 2K bought it, and at that time, EA had the best baseball game out there. Period. It was called triple play baseball. It was the best baseball game out there. Period. And then MLB took the rights from them. EA could no longer make MLB baseball game, so then they made the college baseball game, and then they stopped making baseball games.
Okay.
But Sony was still bought 989 Sports, and they still were able to make a baseball game, even with MLB or 2K Sports buying that license. A lot of people don't know that.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Keith, same question. If you could choose a studio, then we'll move to the next topic. If you could choose a studio to make this game that outside of EA, because we all, I don't know. I'm not necessarily. I don't hate EA, but I got issues with EA, some serious ones. Who would you have to make this game if you could have another studio to make it?
Ubisoft. Just curious.
Just okay.
I'm just curious.
Just to be curious.
Okay. That's interesting.
That's
I mean, they make everything. They got so many open world games.
That's true. They can make everything.
I'm pretty sure they can make a football. I'm pretty sure they got some code somewhere.
They got some code somewhere. That's funny.
We got to make a football game. American football.
So you get the French to make American football game. That's cool. Okay.
Why not?
Yeah,
okay.
I agree with K-Bum. I would have 2K. I would want to see.
I didn't want to say 2K.
That. Yeah, to me, because I believe, I'm just gonna be honest, I always felt like they made better sports games than Madden. I mean, than EA. I just always have. I felt like when they had then they have. Wasn't they with Sega?
Yeah. So 2K was with Dreamcast.
Yeah.
That's how they started. They were on the Dreamcast system, but they weren't on any other system at the beginning.
Right. They the one. I'm just saying they the one made that particular football.
Yes.
Yeah. They have always made sports games better than EA. I feel like we all agree that their basketball game is better than what EA
the basketball game was better than. Yeah, they took the crown. It took them a while, but they took the crown from NBA Live. That is correct.
Right. Now we know we all salty with them with the transactions. Well, let me say this real quick. Let me say this.
Last point. I'll let you go. What people forget is that they lost the battle with NHL. They lost the battle with NHL. EA beat them in hockey. Yes, they did. Yeah, they did. Yeah.
NHL. I thought you said NFL.
No, NHL, the hockey game. They lost that battle. EA made a better game. There was no exclusivity with that. EA beat them, and they lost the battle with the baseball game with the show. They just stopped making the baseball games because it was so bad. So I know people give them props because the game was arguably better than Madden. I agree with that.
It ain't arguably K-Bum. It was better than Madden. It was better. Now, to me, it was faster. It was more entertaining. I feel like we have, because all we have had was Madden. We kind of like, if you hungry and all you got there to eat is what's there on the table. If it ain't necessarily nasty, Madden ain't nasty. It ain't a bad game. I mean, now and they do stuff that we don't like. But back then, before all the microtransactions started ruining pretty much all sports, Madden never put out a bad game. It just was never as good as, to me, in my opinion. Let me say that.
Madden 06 would beg to differ. But that's a different.
I'm just saying,
topic.
For me, at they apex back in 2000, I would say 2005, 2000, around that 4 or 5, that era 2000 up to there.
Mhm.
I think Madden was getting their tails handed to him in that football arena, man. They really was. Sega, 2K was faster. The juking was better. The animation was better.
Animations were better. The tackling was better.
The tackling was better.
Way better.
The pace
Light
of the
years.
game was just better. And I think a lot of what we see in Madden borrowed a lot of its elements from what those games was doing almost 2 decades ago.
Presentation in 2K was much better.
Right. Everything that
Still
Madden
better.
does now that we grew to like about Madden, I think they borrowed because they had
Not
exclusivity.
everything.
Not everything, but a lot. They
A lot
borrowed
of
it.
Not everything.
they borrowed
Just keep you honest.
and kind of was I think they was influenced and took inspiration from a better offering that was basically 15, 16 years old, or maybe even older than that now. So
man.
I would say
2005
2K.
is
I would love to see what 2K could do because I want to see what 2K could do to a football game now. Because
you actually will see very soon.
Okay, cool.
Because they have the rights to make an arcade version of football. Not a simulation, but an arcade version. So you'll see maybe 2023.
Yeah, I want to see what they do with a simulation because they kind of blended arcade simulation into one thing, which I believe Madden kind of has creeped to, having a little arcadiness to it, a pace to it, while maintaining the simulation. Where I think that's what 2K kind of struck oil. They had the pace of an arcade speed, like when you're running, like it didn't feel heavy. You feel like you was light and fast. And I get on the edge with what old dude with Tampa Bay back in the day, Warren Dunn. I get on the edge with Warren Dunn, and hey, it was Katie bar the door. I was gone. But on Madden you couldn't do that. You couldn't. You was like you was stuck in mud. Like what the deal here? But anyway, I ain't finna dump on your Madden.
You can dump, bro. Dump all you want.
So, Keith, you got anything else to add to this? We're gonna move on to this next subject.
Yeah, I say we can do the switch subject next if you wanted to. We can.
Okay. Cool.
Unless you want to do the Sony one, because there's something else I wanted to add to the Sony one too. But we
finna do the Sony one. We finna do the Sony.
The Sony one, okay.
Yeah. I want to talk. I mean, we can talk about the Switch Pro at any time. So we don't get to the Switch Pro tonight. Cool. Then it just don't happen. I'm not tripping. We can hit that another day. So let's talk about this Returnals, man. Not Returnals, but the fact that Sony has bought Housemarque. I'm gonna start with Keith on this one. So what's your thoughts, man?
We gotta get the full story of them purchasing.
Well, go ahead.
So the full story is that Sony purchased Housemarque, which
now,
is
if y'all don't know who Housemarque is, I got some footage up. This is the team that made Returnals for the PlayStation 5. So
not only did they make Returnal, they made, for those who played the PS3 when it first came out, they played Stardust.
Okay.
Stardust was like this 3D, 2D scroller. They also made this Returnal, so they bought them. They also purchased, and then I want to make sure we get the full story, and they also purchased Bluepoint.
No, they didn't. They haven't purchased Bluepoint. They haven't purchased. They're likely to purchase Bluepoint.
Okay,
I was trying to find. I was like, it keeps saying likely to. So they basically all but bought. It's pretty much a done deal. It just they haven't officially purchased Bluepoint yet. Just want to be technically correct.
The news. So there's Bluepoint who they're about to acquire, which made the remake for Demon's Souls 5. Yes. They were the people who did that. They also did the remake for they actually did several remakes. They did the Uncharted package that came out for the PS4. Yep. They did the God of War package that came out for the PS3. And they also did the Shadow of the Colossus that came out for the PS4.
Yeah. Did you get the Dark Souls?
Yeah, Dark Souls for the PS5. Yeah, that was the first thing I said. Dark Souls for the PS5. Okay. And there's another company, Sony just either purchased or announced they're going to purchase. They just said it today. It's a studio called Nexus, Nixxes, which
Okay.
they specialize in dun, 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 PC ports.
Yeah, bring them
So
on.
this, yeah, that's a key thing. There you go, Keith. So that may hint at Sony doing more PC ports, and Bluepoint is also known for their ports. So that's saying a lot. But so I want you to make sure we gave all three of those before we handed it over to Keith to kind of give his comments. So
Okay. So now I know this ain't a bombshell like Bethesda, but Keith,
yes, correct.
what do you think about like what does this do for Sony as a what do you feel like this does for Sony? Like based on what K Bum just shared and the fact that you do know what Housemarque
Returnal.
has done and Returnal,
Yeah.
which I haven't played Returnals, and based on what I've heard, I don't believe this is the type of game that I would want to play. I mean, not that I don't want to. I wanted to play it, but I'm not into those type of push your mental buttons like you ready to throw your controller at the screen because you because
You got
you gotta die to
27,000
win.
objects flying
Yeah,
at your
you gotta
face.
die to win. You got it. Remember when I said last week, and I'm real quick, Keith, I'm finna give it to you. Remember last week I said I put Ratchet and Clank on a harder level, and I said sometimes they seem to forget that I'm only one person. Real
Oh yeah.
Returnal, that's what I'm like literally that's
Returnal is
all
that all
Returnals
day.
is, right? You gotta die to figure out how to beat the game. And you meant to die. Dying is learning. And I don't know if I'm there for all that, but go ahead, Keith. It's on you.
It's a whole genre for that because Hades. I don't know if you heard of Hades. It's the
Yeah.
same type of game.
Right. But it's
Yeah,
on
it's
you, Keith.
that like 1942 drone with the little helicopter or airplane at the bottom, and you dodging all the particles. It's some Japanese stuff, man. Honestly,
Yeah.
um, they like all that stuff. I man, it's just another bullet in the chamber for Sony, in my opinion. I'm sitting here looking at the Housemarque games because I'm not deep into the Sony who are like K-Bum, so I don't know all what they've done. So Returnal, Matterfall, I don't even know what that is. Next Machina, uh, Alien Nation, Resogun. Resogun was a huge one for PS4, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Because
Yep. Resogun was a big
wait a
one,
minute,
too.
let's put context to that, Keith. Resogun was huge because there was nothing else there to play.
Because
Go
there
ahead.
was nothing else to play.
It literally
That is a
wasn't,
true
man.
statement.
That was true. After
Yeah,
that,
that's the
after
truth.
that, Killzone was over and Knack. That was it. Resogun
That
was
was
the
it.
biggest game on the PlayStation 5. I mean,
You
PlayStation 3.
you right.
Go ahead, Keith. My bad.
But yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say because I don't, like I said, I kind of want to look at this Matterfall game. It looks pretty cool. But yeah, it's to me, it's just I think Sony is filling their voids, right? So we already know that they can do the whole story driven narrative, and I think Returnal has a good premise and a good narrative as well. But it's a different type of game that you don't normally get from a Sony first person
They got a
exclusive.
name for these type of games. I remember Paris said it. What they call
Yeah,
it?
I don't know the name of them.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, this is
Uh, but yeah, roguelike. No,
Rogue. Yeah, Rogue game. Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Rogue.
I think that's a newer term, ain't it?
It's something he said, but basically is around the fact that you gotta die. It's
What's the
meant
story?
dying is a part of the story, a part of the progression, because you learn from what you know and starting over. I forgot what they call that, man. But anyway, go ahead though.
But I mean, essentially, it's a shooter, and um, it's a different type of shooter. It's not just a over the
Mhm.
shoulder, hide behind cover. It's a continuous movement, and those are the type of games that seem like they specialize in. And I think that's just another thing where, like, okay, a lot of people don't like Returnal, but you give this studio the power with Sony behind them, rather. Now they can develop the next Uncharted in this type of genre. You know what I mean? So
Uh,
I think it's a good thing because Sony they don't really put out BS games. It may not be your cup of tea, but they don't really put out BS games. So I
Right.
think this is just another bullet in the chamber for Sony to shoot at Game Pass. I had to say that.
Good point.
But that's it. That's all I got for now.
So it's, you was right. It's a roguelike game. It is a roguelike game is a subgenre of role playing video game characterized by a dungeon crawl through procedurally generated levels. So the level is never the same, I guess. And
Yeah, always changing.
yeah, it's always changing, and it's turn based. Well, this ain't turn based, but a grid based movement. And it's permanent death of the character. So when you die, you got to start over from the beginning.
From the beginning. Yep.
That's and that's what, and that I'm gonna tell you two things kept me from buying it. That and that price tag. Like, okay, I ain't buying no. I'm like, I'm gonna have to wait till Returnal's a little bit cheaper, cheaper. You know what I'm saying? So, because I ain't spending those $69 on a game that's gonna have me pulling my little bit of hair left on my head out. I can't do it. So, but looking at the game and looking at what they're able to do. The studio definitely got skills. You know what I'm saying? They did make Resogun. Remember, they made Resogun, folks. No, let me stop. But I think it's cool. I think it's cool. I mean, this game looks nice. It's a nicely developed game. That maybe the style of game might not be intriguing to me or appealing to me, but what I'm looking at, I want to play it. I just know I will get frustrated with dying and having to start over from the beginning all the time. That'll really annoy me. But eventually I'm going to play the game. But I think it's a good pickup for Sony. And I don't know the other two studios. I'm not as familiar with the other two studios that you named, K-Bum. But I think it's a good pickup for Sony. I think it's a good look. No, it's not. It's not on the scale of Bethesda and Microsoft and what they did with Bethesda. I won't even say it's on the scale of the Hellraiser company that they picked up. I would say it's actually on that scale. I would say it's about the quad that like a pickup like with the studio that Microsoft picked up with Hellblade. They acquired that studio. Ninja Theory. So I'd equate this to kind of like that. But it's a good look. Sony already got some heavy hitters, so to have a good, I'll say, even though it's first party, but like a second party studio that make those mid tier, not AAA games, but that those AA games, I think that's dope. But I think they got the skills to make a AAA game though. They definitely got the skills to. If they've given the opportunity, I think they could do something even beyond Returnals. I think Returnals was just a showpiece for the PlayStation 5. That's why I think the stages. I think it's the type of game it is. But looking at it, it's done extremely well. It's a very good looking game. So that's what I would say.
Great.
Go ahead, you got it.
Okay. So my comment is going to come in a little bit different than what you guys have said. With the first two purchases, I don't think it does much.
I don't think it changes
the game. Yeah. I think it keeps the status quo really. Like, but you said at least. You did say at least it's like the purchase of Susuna, the people who made that game, which is Ninja Theory. Which I disagree because I disagree because at least Ninja Theory made games for other consoles.
Well, I mean, did they make any game that we really cared about?
Yes, they made they made Heavily Sword for the PS.
Oh,
for the PS3,
yeah, you're right. I forgot.
Ninja Theory made Heavily Sword.
You're right. I forgot.
Which was a Sony exclusive.
Which they never made another one. Why not?
They never made another one. It had a cult following. So that's why I say I'm a little bit different because I think it's the status quo because these studios have just made Sony only games. So to me, it's what's the difference between them being purchased and then them not purchased because they were pretty much a first party Sony, a second part, more like a second party studio,
right?
Because they didn't really make games any. So
there's like Kojima to like how Kojima was, even though he was with Konami, everything he made always basically only came to Sony.
Yeah, but they forced them to put it on other consoles though. Metal Gear Solid still came out on the 360 when they paid that money to get them over it. So they weren't locked down. So I guess what it buys is this, and this is what I was alluding to. It buys security, right?
Okay.
It buys the fact, like you just said, how Kojima was making them just for the PS, made Metal Gear Solid 1 and Metal Gear Solid 2 only for the PS2. But at some point, they were purchased or the money was dangled in their face and they started making them, they made it for the for the Xbox 360. And then they also made it for the Wii or the GameCube at that point in time. They made the Metal Gear Solid for the GameCube. So it wasn't, and then after that, it was cross-platform. So it's at the end of the PS2 era, it stopped being a Sony only game, which what Metal Gear Solid was. It was a Sony only game. You can only get that on a Sony system. So it buys them security. That's pretty much all I think it buys them with these two companies. It's just the security that these companies will continue to make games only for your system. Because remember, Sony had a lot of that back in the PS2 era. Even the Devil May Cries were only on the PS2. They were not on the Xbox system. So Sony had a lot of that, and they lost a lot of that traction when Microsoft came out and dangled that money. Same thing with GTA. GTA was only on the Sony system.
They made the same mistake Nintendo made. They got a little too secure. Secure and confident and made some bonehead move. Yeah, cocky. And just like Sony came in and took Nintendo's thunder when them companies got an opportunity to go elsewhere and not to pay all that money to please Nintendo when Sony made the PlayStation 3 and Microsoft came with the 360, they all ran over to the 360 and kind of gave Sony a little bit of what Sony did to Nintendo.
Was. Exactly.
But I would say this. I'm gonna push back a little bit, K-Bomb, and I'm shocked. I wasn't expecting you. I agree with you. I don't agree. I don't disagree with you. I don't think it moves the scale at all.
Yes,
but I do think Housemarque is a tremendous pickup because they're showing a lot of potential. I think a lot of these are low budget games, but they're doing a lot with low budget. I think once they actually it's
a beautiful game.
Yeah, the more I look at it, the more I'm like, God, this is a really nice looking game.
Graphically, it is on a high level. It's not the top level, but it's on a high level.
It's on a high level. It's not average. I won't throw it up there with Ratchet and Clank. I won't throw it up there with The Last of Us, but it's knocking maybe a notch or two below that. But you could tell that this ain't expensively produced game. So to see what they're doing, probably with not a whole lot of money, I'll be curious what they can do with. Because I think this game might have been the game that pushed Sony to buy them. This might have been the game that be like,
understandable.
We might need to go and pull these people because they made this game. Then somebody else see this and be like, because Microsoft buying up everything. So Microsoft's like, look, hey man, we offer you that money. Come on over here and give us Returnals too. You know what I'm saying? So
get on that game, man.
Right. So
that's funny.
I think Housemarque, out of all three, is showing the potential to be a actual major player with more money. And I can't say that about the other two. But looking at this game and looking at jumping from a game like Resogun and all that to making a game like this, I think with more time and more money and more opportunity, they might be able to join that elite studio quality that seems to be across the board under Sony's belt, like Santa Monica. Santa Monica, what it was? I'm drawing a blank.
Santa Monica, which is God of War. Then you Insomniac,
Naughty Dog,
which is
Insomniac,
Naughty Dog, Insomniac,
all them studios,
Guerrilla,
Sucker Punch, Guerrilla.
Yep.
They all have
make
this
AAA titles.
AAA titles that, to me, just hit harder
Yep.
than the other two. I'm just gonna be harder in what they do. I'm not saying they better
In what they do.
in what they
Yes.
do. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That story driven,
Yep.
cinematic, movie like experience. Sony got that across all their studios right now, and I think
Yep.
Housemarque might be able to join those studios in
Agreed.
keeping that formula going. Just like Nintendo, they got that symmetry across they development studios, where what Nintendo does, it's done greatly across all their studios. So I that's where I think that's why I feel like
I see your point.
Yeah,
I see your point.
Yeah, so,
That's why I was trying to take it with it. It's like you look at somebody like Retro Studios and you're like, oh man, they're incredible. Then you go look at the games. The first game is Metroid Prime. How did they knock it out of the park that fast? You know what I mean? And you talking about a game like Resogun to what you're seeing now, dude. They're just improving. You know what I'm saying? Like it may not seem like a lot right now because you might that game is okay, but then they're gonna come out with that banger and it's gonna be like, oh, I need to get my PS5 or I can't wait to play that or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
It just takes one game, and I think Sony was smart to recognize the studio having the potential to do it. So,
right, and that's what I'm saying.
I would level on this one.
Yeah, I see a lot of potential.
I roll with you on that.
So,
but see, you to me, you have to give that same credence to Blue Point.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything with Blue Point.
Let me go with that. So we talked about improving, and Blue Point has been the guys when Sony needed someone to port something. Someone needed to take an old game or a game from a different system and get it over to their newer system. Blue Point has kind of been the go-to developers.
Right.
Now, what they did, and we kind of talked about this, what they did was their games at first was like, War and Shadow of the Colossus, the Metal Gear HD collection, PlayStation All Stars, and then they did the remake of Demon Souls.
Okay.
Which has, if you look at the port,
it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. That's the point. That's the growth that we're talking about. To me, it's the same type of growth that Housemarque has done with Returnal, because that game, it looks ridiculous. A lot of the people who play Demon, I'm not that guy, but a lot of people who play Demon Souls talks about how stupidly beautiful this game is and how well done it is as far as a port. Because again, this is not a new game. This is a port, and it was way more. It's a remaster. Sorry, it's not a port. Apologize. It's a remaster, right. And it is way more than just your typical remaster.
This
and they have to get props for that, because this, again, the Metacritic for this game is a 92.
No, but this is where I push back.
Okay.
Housemarque. See what you say. They're taking. What's the word I'm looking for? They're taking already created.
Yes. Yeah.
What's the word? What's
content?
Content, but it's another word I was looking for. It's a particular word, but you're right. Content, and they're improving it, but they don't have to come up with the idea of storyline, design of where we going with this story, where we going with these designs.
Yes.
They just taking the what's the word I'm looking for, Keith? They're taking what's created. You know how a game they keep this stuff on. They don't have to like Madden does it. Yeah. Madden does it. They take all that and just upscale a little bit more. All the code and all the anyway, that didn't come to me later. But that's all they're doing. What would make me? What's the name of that studio you said again?
Blue Point.
What would make me feel like this about Blue Point if Blue Point had some original stuff that I
no. See, you're missing the statement I'm trying to make. I'm not saying that Blue Point is going to be the people that's going to make a new game. What I'm saying is, if Sony needs a studio to work on a certain port for them, they have a studio.
Oh, I'm with you on that.
They don't have to ever make a brand new game.
Right.
They never
That's
really
my
made
point.
a brand new game.
That's why. Yeah.
But it doesn't. If you need a good port, just like they sold systems off of Demon Souls. They sold PS5s because of Demon Souls.
Keith, that's why I think Nintendo needs to buy the panic button. That's why I think Nintendo needs to bring panic button. But see, that's cool. I'm with you. I'm just saying, like, you're right. That is dope to be able to have a studio. To have a studio that can take your old IPs and breathe new life into it and make it like they did Demon Souls. Like what they did in that game, and that game looks retardedly good, right?
It does, yes.
But absolutely. I feel like Housemarque can join the upper echelons of Sony's studios. If Nintendo bought Panic Button, and Panic Button, all they was responsible for doing was making the ports that from these other studios and Nintendo don't, I'd be like, that'd be dope. That'd be dope. I'm with you. I get what you're saying. I agree.
They make good Nintendo ports. They do.
So I think the acquisition is dope. I just think there's so much potential with what's possible. The Housemarque that we haven't seen. Because as dope as Demon Souls look, I don't have no desire to buy it.
I mean,
you see what I'm saying?
Never play it.
Right. I don't have. But it does look amazing.
It is a system seller, though. That is something we can't disagree with.
Right. I agree with you.
We have to agree that it is a system seller.
It was, especially in the sign that they released it. They put it out at a smart time, early in the life cycle of the PlayStation 5 when it wasn't much there. It was smart to put that game because it was one of the games that made you understand that you're dealing with something a little bit more,
something different. Yep.
Yeah, something different with them graphics. But yeah, I'm with you. Keith, you got anything else to add to that?
Nope.
He said sorry. Nope. All right, so we did have the Switch Pro down here, but looking at the time, fellas, we gonna have to stay on the table that. Yeah. We wasn't supposed to start this late, but I had a situation where I had to get my son to work, and he works a little distance from here, and it threw me off. So I'll probably don't blame me, blame my love and my
your love for your children. Is that what did it? Your love for your children, my love for my children.
There you go. Thank you, K-Bon, for that saving. That's saving right there. But yeah, so
y'all just need to know if we late for anything, y'all just need to know it's level.
It ain't always me now. Don't do me like that.
It's level.
Dang.
Leave that in the comment section.
It's like that.
He threw you all the way under the bus.
I mean, Keith. No grace at all. Like
it wasn't there. I don't know where it went.
I mean, man, but okay.
I just wonder was it a short bus or a long bus?
That's funny. Same place. Oh, you got a comment down there, level. Surge MHPB. Yep. What sure. Yeah, true. True that. Bringing it to your ears.